Welcome to season 1, episode 2. Today we're going to be talking about mind your business. Yes, indeed. But this podcast is the absolute opposite of what you think. A lot of times we say, I'm just minding my business. However, we never think about the consequences of just minding our business. And sometimes minding our business has us in bondage. It has us in bondage because of the many stories that we tell ourselves in our head because we're just minding my own business. The stories we tell ourselves shape our lives. And we tell ourselves some of these stories are truth, some of them are lies. It all boils down to what you choose to believe. So let's examine that a little further. When I say let's look at that further, I want to talk about our human nature. In our human nature, we automatically think thoughts. Statistics say we think anywhere from 6,000 to 7,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thoughts. And imagine if you are thinking 6,000 to 7,000 negative things, the effect that is going to have on your mind. So the stories we tell ourselves shape what we believe. What are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that things are good, or are you telling yourself that things are bad? How are you looking at situations? Are you taking your own thoughts and keeping yourself in bondage? A lot of people do this daily. They'll see a situation and think about a situation and formalize a whole story in their mind of something that is not even true. When I say that's not even true, think about it this way. You and your best friend, you haven't talked to your best friend in 3 days. You tell yourself, maybe she's mad at me. And you decide to believe for 3 days that your friend is mad at you when your friend is simply having a crisis moment or she's simply going through something. Have you reached out to say, hey, what's going on with you? Do you need me? No, you're choosing to believe the story in your mind that you told yourself that your friend was mad at you. What did you do for your friend to be mad at you? You're believing a narrative and formulating your actions on a narrative that is false. Sometimes these stories we tell ourselves can get us in trouble and keep us in bondage. We walk down the hall at work and we see Sister Susie Q. Sister Susie Q just walked past you without speaking, and you automatically think, Sister Susie Q don't like me. Well, what about Sister Susie Q just having a bad day? What about Sister Susie Q maybe just lost her sister or her brother or someone in her family? Stop telling yourself negative things every time your mind thinks of a story. You have to be intentional about the thoughts you choose to believe. If you believe everything that's negative, guess what? You're going to have negativity in your life because that's what you're choosing to believe. But if you tell yourself the stories that are good, are happy, are full of joy, that's exactly what you're going to bring to your life. You're going to bring joy. You're going to bring happiness. Stop telling yourself all these negative stories, giving yourself anxiety for no reason. Listen, the stories we tell ourselves can make or break how we function in life. And I want us to function in good health, in wealth. But you can't do that telling yourself stories that like, I'm ugly, or nobody loves me. Those are narratives that you create in your mind, and they are not necessarily the truth. Now, yes, I know some stories we create in our minds, they do have validity and truth to it. And I understand that, but that is not what I'm talking about. When I'm talking today, I'm telling you to mind. When I say mind, I'm saying be aware of your thoughts. Be aware consciously. Be intentional about what you're thinking in your mind. Stop believing the lies that your mind is telling you. Don't let your mind get you in trouble. Again, this is why we're talking about this today. So you will mind your business, but you will mind your business in a good way because you're going to be aware of the stories you're telling yourself, aware of the thoughts that you are having in your mind. Your mind shapes everything that you believe. And I just want to say to you today, believe the good and let go of the bad. I'm going to say that again. Believe the good stories and throw away the bad. Do not hold on to these bad negative narratives, because they will form and shape your life and what you believe. Choose to believe good things. Choose to mind your business in a good way. Again, I'm a part of Mind Your Business Ministry. I like minding my own business, but at the same time, I'm going to mind my business to make sure that I'm thinking good thoughts. Let's talk about being intentional. Intentionality requires you being aware. It requires you being purposeful, meaning I am aware of the thoughts that I'm thinking. For me, writing down my thoughts allow me to know what I'm thinking negative, what I'm thinking positive, whether good or bad. A lot of times, writing your thoughts down will help you to see what your mind is thinking on a daily basis. Sometimes you would be surprised to say, was I really thinking that? So try actually writing your thoughts down, try it for at least a week. And then you will see a pattern in your thought pattern of how you are thinking. Being intentional will require you participating with your thoughts. That may not be as easy as it sounds, because we think so much. Am I asking you to write every thought down? Absolutely not. Just take maybe 5 minutes a day to say, I'm going to write down and journal the thoughts that I'm having right now. Then you will compare the next day to see, what was I really thinking, whether it was good or bad. Intentionality is what is going to help you change your thought pattern. Listen, being intentional will help you mind your business, because you are aware that these thoughts that I'm carrying, these stories that I'm telling myself, they are not adding to my life. The stories we tell ourselves, they are draining the life out of us if they are negative. Stop telling yourself these negative stories. They're draining the life out of you. And we want you to live and live more abundantly. Listen, let's master the art of having a conversation, asking a question. Let me say that again. When I say master the art of asking a question, some of us have formulated stories in our heads that we refuse to ask questions for. You don't have to walk around worrying if Sister Susie Q is mad with you. Just ask Sister Susie Q a question. Hey, what's going on with you today? A lot of times, because we fail to ask questions, we walk around with anxiety. We walk around mad, pissed, and upset with people who have no idea that we're mad at them or why you're even mad. That is a disservice to you, and that is a disservice to the people you love and care about. Learn how to have conversations. If your mind is telling you a narrative that you don't know whether it's true or false, have a conversation. That conversation will save you some anxiety. That conversation will save you some heartache, because a lot of times expectations in your mind causes some of this anxiety, because the narrative you told yourself, your mind is now in a state of believing nothing but negative. That is not a good thing. We're not doing that. It is 2025. We are not believing the stories our minds are telling us. Again, the story may be true. However, in 2025, let's have some conversations. Have conversations. Are you upset? What you're upset about? Are you bothered? What you're bothered about? What do you need? Have conversations. Don't listen to the negativity of your mind, allowing you to be walking around and functioning in a place that you were not created to function. Walking around with envy, walking around with strife and bitterness and upset all the time, only because of the stories that you believe that you told yourself. Let me say that again. The stories in your mind that you told yourself, that you chose to believe. It was a choice at the end of the day. You could have said, I'm not going to listen to this negative thought. I'm going to compound it with a thought or a positive thought that's better than the one I'm having. Because the one that I'm having is not for me. You have to know that these thoughts are triggering other things that you don't even have to go through. So again, let's talk about minding your business, but minding your business to the point that you are not allowing yourself to believe the negative narratives and conversations that you and your mind have. Let's bring your mind and your conversations all together in one place. And this year, we are not believing the negative. We're only going to embrace the positivity that we allow our mind to believe. We're only believing positive things. We're only receiving positive things. We don't have time for no negativity. There's so much going on in this world right now. All you have space for is positivity. So don't let your mind be the reason that you're depressed. Don't let your mind be the reason that you are sad and upset for the narrative that you chose to believe, that you chose to tell yourself. Again, mind your business, but mind your business telling yourself the good stories, the positive stories that's going to help you grow in life. Again, mind your business. Well, thank you for joining us on season 1, episode 2. We will meet you again, same place, same time, 11 o'clock next Tuesday. I will see you there.